Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Flight BA37, Blunty Airways Flight 37. I am your Captain Blunty. We will be doing a tour of my old hometown, where I've spent the first 21 years of my life. It's taking off out of Hobart, International Airport is a kind way to refer to it. There aren't many international flights that leave from there. They normally go via Sydney or Melbourne first. We'll be making our way over to Hobart City, which is a surprisingly small city. If you grew up there, it didn't feel that small, but if you move away and then come back to it, it feels positively tiny. We'll be over that in nanoseconds. Then we'll be popping over Mount Wellington, which is the main geological landmark hanging over the valley in which Hobart sits. It used to be called Tabletop Mountain because it's all flat on top, so we will be trying to land on it with our little Zen Aviation Savage Cub, or the Sauvage Cub. Then we'll be zigzagging down all the way down to Port Arthur, which is a very important historic site as far as Australian history goes. And then down to Bruny Island, a very boring place where I was forced to holiday for many years with my family, who took me there against my will, and all I had to do was walk around and maybe go fishing every once in a while, which, for a kid who enjoyed his comic books and video games, was a very bad way to spend his vacation. Join us now as we take to the air. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hobart Airport, which looks for all the world a lot more regional than I remember it looking. I'll tell you that much. It is obviously not a custom-designed airport for this game, but I only have vague memories of Hobart Airport itself because I hated going there. It was such a shitty little airport. Didn't even have a luggage carousel last time I was there. You just drove this stuff up in a little road train thing. Either way, we are ready to take off. Please take your seats, fasten your seatbelts, put your trays in their upright and locked position, and be prepared for a tour of a reasonably boring place to grow up, but a very pretty place to grow up, with lovely, clean, fresh air, beautiful, mild summers, and crispy, cool winters.
Ready to fly. Parking brake off. Power on. Zoom. Nose down. Center line held. 130 knots. Away we go. Gentle. Easy. Beautiful. Seating in airport is now ridiculously uncomfortable. In this airport? Oh, wait, are you from Hobart? Or you just go there? Oh, this is your hometown, Russell. Yeah, me too. I spent the first 21 years of my life here. And then I moved to Launceston for a couple of years, then Brisbane, and finally to Sydney. And I've been in Sydney for 12 or 13 years, I guess, by now. Alright, let's pop up my nav map, and we'll stick that on my secondary screen so it doesn't block the lovely views. This boring, but pretty hometown. And I've lost control. We're back. Alright, let's go to the outside tourism view. Actually, the surrounding area of the airport looks pretty damn convincing. That does look pretty much like I remember it being. That little road that takes a little bend there, that's where you come into the airport. And you can see the little car park down there. Yeah, right. Even the Derwent River back there looks pretty convincing. Actually, no, that's not the Derwent, is it? That's, shit, what is the name of that thing? We'll be heading over the Derwent shortly. Tiny little town in South Carolina called Johnsonville. Never heard of that one. I've heard of Jacksonville. I think that's in Carolina as well, isn't it? Jacksonville, Carolina? That sounds right. What I've seen of Tassie is far quite good in this. Some of the satellite imagery is not the greatest. Yeah, I've been through Hobart on day one, and the city itself doesn't look quite right. I mean, it's the right layout, obviously, because of the satellite data, but yeah, none of the buildings look like I remember them, and the, Salamanca Markets doesn't look anything like it should, and things like that, but the terrain, at least, looks spot on. This is the kind of trees I would expect on these mountains. They're the right colour. The dirt is the right colour. That sort of little haze in the sky looks about right. Actually, are we flying with live weather? Let's go live weather. Jacksonville is in Florida. Okay. I was way off. Oh, there's another one in Tennessee. There's probably a few of them, actually. Alright, so what are we flying over here? This would be... Can't for life remember the name of the suburb. What is the name of the damn suburb on the eastern shore here? Damn it. Give me a break. It's been 20 years. 22 years. I have been back to Hobart once in the intervening years for a weekend for a friend's wedding, and that was it. Oh, Warrain. Yeah, this would be Warrain, wouldn't it? Never visited Warrain much. I did have a friend who lived there, but they came to see me rather than the other way around, so we're a bit ashamed of it. It's a pretty grotty little suburb. Right, the Derwent River there in front of us, and it is in fact the exact right colour that the Derwent River should be. Lovely blue. I used to mock my friends in Melbourne because the river that runs through Melbourne, called the Yarra, is brown all of the time. It's just filled with all kinds of silt and mud. It's just brown. Melbourne's brown river, and I grew up with this river. Beautiful. Relatively clean by modern standards. Pristine blue river. And that bridge down there does not look right, although it is much like the real bridge should be. A lot of the made up, generated bridges in this game are flat, road bridges just across the water, but that bridge there is arched not quite as much as the real one should be. Yeah, that was a hell of a lot of fun to ride across in your 100cc scooter in high winds. It got gusty on that thing like you wouldn't believe. Even trucks had a hard time with the side wind. Alright, up in front of us there is Mount Wellington. From this angle it doesn't look as flat as it does from the actual city itself. But trust me, it's pretty flat on top. And there's Hobart City just down there. Again, not really looking like it should, but pretty close. And that is the capital city of Tasmania. And yes, that is all of it. It is literally just a few blocks of like office buildings, none of which I think are taller than about 30-story. If that, actually. And yeah, it just immediately dissolves into suburbs. And that is the biggest city Tasmania has to offer. That little tower down there you see just on the water's edge, that's the Crown Casino. Or at least that's what it was called when I was there. That's where you'd go... Well, that's where all the 20-something females would go to get hammered. So there are a couple of nice nightclubs in there. Right, let's turn our attention to Mount Wellington. Which, even from this angle, doesn't look quite right. I wonder if they've got the TV towers up there. There should be two great big towers. Or at least they were when I was a kid. One for VHF transmissions, which was then converted for digital TV, and the other one for UHF. Does seem like it's missing the towers though, doesn't it? I mean, those are part of the iconic skyline of Hobart. You got Mount Wellington, which I don't think this is as steep as it should be going up the sides. I think that's the issue. But yeah, there's two TV transmission towers that should be sitting on top. You can see them from just everywhere in Hobart. I've got to try and get some more airspeed here. And yeah, there's too many trees. The side of the mountain is actually quite bare. It's quite rocky and cliffy in real life. And there are very few trees on the top of it. At least tall ones, anyway. Oh yeah, the lookout building too. Here we go. Looks like we're loading in some high-res details here. I just saw it pop. Still no towers or anything though. Yeah. It just doesn't look right, does it? It's all those trees. Those big sheer cliff faces aren't there. Actually, they're kind of there, just off my left wing. That should be one of the sheer cliff faces. That should be just all kinds of beautiful brown rock. Vertical lines going down it. Jacksonville is actually tiny, only about 1,500 people in total. Wow, that is small. I'm not sure what the population of Hobart is. Someone look that up real quick. Or, you know, look up what the population of Hobart was in, like, the 1995. Do you recommend this game? This is not a game, official Wellington. It's not a game, it's a simulator. This is not for having fun or entertainment. This is serious. Don't call it a game. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am enjoying it very much. Mostly over the last few days, I've been using it as a virtual tourism device, just to go exploring. Been doing a little bit of the proper simi-type stuff, like the landing challenges and things like that. Some of the gamification type stuff. And generally just sort of cruising about, learning the aircraft and getting better at flying and stuff like that. It's been incredibly entertaining. Alright, so this looks close to what it should be. To be fair, I've only been to the top of the mountain a couple of times. I know what it looks like from the ground, but I've only come up here a couple of times, and usually it was in winter when it was lovely and snowy up here, so... Russell, what do you reckon? You been up here during the warmer days? That's what I want. Yeah, that turning circle looks about right. I remember that. Not sure about that building. I think that building might be the tower. The lookout tower. Alright, let's make our turn eastwards and we'll head on down to Port Arthur, which is beyond a couple of these islands, probably the furthest big island out there you can see. And we should be basically pointed right at Port Arthur Bay. If the weather is snowy, does it cover the ground in snow? On the mountaintop, yeah. It only snows at sort of ground level in Hobart once in a while. Like when I was a kid, it happened maybe twice. Because most of Hobart is pretty much at sea level. So even if the snow falls like up at this level, by the time it gets to the ground, it's normally a drizzle. But yeah, very occasionally, even right down in the suburbs, it will accumulate some snow. Not particularly deep. Like maybe half a foot was the absolute deepest I ever saw it. But it was a very exciting day when it snowed when I was a kid. It happened for the first time when I was maybe 7. I made snowmen, threw snowballs at my sister, grew pictures in frost in the windows, did all the snow things. Didn't make a snow angel though. Didn't even know that was a thing. Oh, you mean in the simulator? Yeah, you can actually turn on snow when you go manual weather, and you can even tell it how much snow, like how thick the ground snow should be. So if you want to practice bush landings in snow packs, you can totally do that. Denver is quite accurate. Even having a somewhat rough version of an amusement park. Ah, cool. Actually, you know what? We should go back to Sydney and see if they've done Luna Park right. So I looked at the Opera House and looked at where the bridge should be, but I didn't think to check whether Luna Park is there. I feel like I would have seen it. So I did, you know, it's just behind the bridge. And I did spend some time looking at the bad bridge they've got in Sydney at the moment, so I suspect it's not there. You still haven't seen snow in person? I mean, it's interesting. It's novel. But once you've been in it a couple of times, it's not really that interesting anymore. It's just sort of cold, wet, and crunchy. I do like the sound that snow makes when you walk on it, though. That sort of dry crunch that snow has, that crumbly sound. It's very pleasing. In the sim, it covers the suburbs before it covers the mountain. Really? Womp womp. When you first saw snow, did you write your name with, you know what? No, I was pretty young. I didn't know that was a thing either. But I did do that up on Mount Wellington once, when I went up there as a teenager with a group of mates. It didn't work very well, so I didn't show it off to my mates, but I went behind a tree and tried it, because I needed to pee. And it just happened to be snowy, so I thought, oh, well, I might as well try it out. And I couldn't do it. My stream wasn't laminar enough. But yeah, that said, even though snow doesn't tend to fall in most of the suburbs, it does frequently get into the -Celsius overnight in wintertime. Like in winter in Hobart, it's not unusual for it to be -2, -4 even overnight in winter. So yeah, you'll often find your bird baths or ponds and stuff a bit frosted over, but it didn't snow that often. Coldest it gets here was about 4 degrees Celsius. It's pretty chilly. I mean, that's, you know, that's the appropriate serving temperature of a beer. Thank you for the follows, by the way. Official, Tallest Boy, Magic Man, Patriot Panda, great name, Valen, and Knucklehead, and Anthony. Mount Wellington, Harris coincidence. I live on Wellington. Oh fuck, I forgot to land on Mount Wellington, didn't I? We got too busy talking about the snow and stuff, and I forgot to try and land on it. Too late now, we're too far away. Oh well. We'll do that another time. Maybe we'll try it again after we finish our tour. Doesn't take long to get there. We usually get about a week of winter though, and summer again. It's kind of the other way around in Tasmania. Our summers are quite mild by comparison to most other places. A warm summer day, a hot day, as Hobart's natives would call it, would be like 26 degrees Celsius. It reaches that in spring and summer here in Sydney. But yeah, very few times in a summer in Hobart would you get to the high 20s. It would get to the 30s very occasionally, but maybe only 1 or 2 days in a summer would be that hot. And it was extremely unpleasant because nobody was used to that temperature in Hobart. And everybody would whine about it. It's a bit chilly today, it's about 22. We had 2 40-plus days last summer. Wow. That's climate change for you. Man, I don't know if I've ever... I must have at least once. I must have had a 40-degree day once in my 20 years in Hobart. Yeah, it used to be an incredibly rare thing anyway. Might be changing. But yeah, you know, I was fully acclimatized because, as I said, I was born and raised in Hobart. So, you know, on 12 degrees Celsius days, I was in shorts and a t-shirt, perfectly comfortable. Between growing up in Hobart and being of Scottish descent, my blood was well thick enough to deal with those temperatures without even worrying about it. Reached 40 on New Year's Eve in Hobart this year. Oh, last year. Wow. I forget what this stretch of water is called. Yeah, we're sort of out of the out past the delta of the Derwent at this point, I guess. There should be more boats. There should be commercial craft, shipping containers, pleasure craft, sailing boats, fishing boats. Hobart is a fairly active port. If I remember correctly, it's one of the deepest ports in the world. So, yeah, we can accommodate quite large vessels. Just notice I'm saying we like I still live there. Haven't lived there in 22 years. You know, it's where you grew up. It's still the hometown. There's a little bit of pride left. Like I said, pretty place. Look at that landscape. And yeah, fantastic for fishing as well. Lots of fantastic cold water fisheries happen here. Salmon, for example. Snapper, red snapper, cod. Oh, it's been so long. Lucas says, I'm now in my hometown, flying over buildings I drove past within the past couple of days. Nice. Does it look right? Did you know those islands are basically an underwater mountain range? Yep. When the sea level was different, these were mountains. And yeah, you're exactly right. That's one of the reasons the port is so deep, because what is the port used to be a valley. It wasn't, it's you know, it's not a river that was carved like some ports tend to be as they empty out into the ocean. Our planet is neat. Hang on a sec, there's a bug on my table. Oh, he's running away. Damn it. I've got too much crap. I've got 2 keyboards, flight stick, stream decks, little screen. I couldn't, and my microphone hanging over me. Couldn't spot the bug. Generally looks fine, says Lucas. There's this bridge over a highway that was just a wall with some plants covering it. Yeah, I've seen a couple of bridges like that. One of the New York bridges was like that, funnily enough. You'd think they'd pay more attention to the city that size, but yeah. One of the bridges was just kind of a dam with a bunch of trees sticking out of it. I was actually quite surprised to see the bridge in Hobart here even arching into the right shape. I can't even remember the name of the damn bridge, but I remember what it looks like. Hang on a sec. I've got a second chance at this bug. Got him. Little beetle of some kind. I really need to get this game so I can fly over my house in Hobart. Saying the accurate approach to Hobart. Yeah, I mean, from a distance Hobart looks like Hobart. When you get close, nothing quite looks right in the city. I actually haven't tried to fly over my old house yet. But if I look at it on Google Maps, like the street view on Google Maps, the house I spent my formative years in, so from about the age of, I think we moved in there when I was about 12. And I lived there until I moved out into my own place at 17. It still looks exactly the same. Like nothing has changed about the house I grew up in, except for a couple of bushes that are at the front of the property have gotten a lot bigger. It is ridiculous how time just stands still in this place. Although I did notice my high school is now a primary school, which is weird. And the primary school I went to is gone. It's now it's just filled with houses. Like they tore it down and just built a bunch of houses there. I've seen shits, I'm going to assume you meant to say shots, of people flying planes into their own houses. Is this game legit that detailed, or those houses just for memes? Bit of both. Some of it is extremely accurately modelled. Some of it is just sort of kind of close enough to convince you from altitude. Like the apartment I live in right now is not very accurately modelled in this game. But some of the buildings I've flown past that I do know well certainly are. Can you show your GPU CPU load? Sure can. Zerp. So we're looking at about well, between 24 and 98 flickering on the GPU there, depending on what we're doing. And about 15 on the CPU. And if you type in exclamation point MSFS, Microsoft Flight Simulator, you will get the details of the rig that I'm running it on. We have deviated slight from a flight path, so let's just correct for that. Should be a road below us there somewhere. There it is. Actually, I think those are train tracks by the looks of them. But is it there? At least in scale. Oh, yeah, it's there, and the scale is right. It's just, you know, the texture is wrong. And the colour is wrong, I think, as well. But yeah, it's certainly there. Like, it's generated from the satellite map, so the shape of it is right. And it's in the right spot. It just doesn't, you know, look right. Alright, so I think we're technically in Port Arthur at this point. But not over the actual penal colony part, which is, I think, just out over this ridge. Or maybe around this way a little bit. Hema says it's getting pretty late here. Gonna grab some rest. No worries, mate. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you had fun. I imagine them selling every city highly detailed. I don't know about every city, but yeah. They're certainly going to be upgrading the cities here and there. That'll be free. But also, there is an API for third parties to use to handcraft locations and then sell them on the inbuilt marketplace. So yeah, there's a chance your home city might get a more detailed version. Tell you what, none of this looks right to my eye. Too many trees, I think. And again, I've never flown over this island. I've only been to it at ground level. And I came here via ferry. So, actually, I think we drove here a couple of times as well. Wait, is that it down there? Yeah, that might be some of it down there. Yeah, I mean, this island does have some bushland on it, but not quite this extreme. Yeah, there we go, there's some of the harbour. Doesn't look like any of the buildings are properly done. Yeah, you can see the smudges on the map where buildings should be, but they haven't been generated. And those rocks don't look right. I've actually climbed over those rocks down there. Clambered over them. They look all kinds of flat. That seems very weird to see it like that. Alright then. So Port Arthur's a bit of a wash. Let's head over to Bruny Island. It should be that lump of land right in front of us there, I think. How's my map going? Yep, pretty much. Let's get down low and see how this ocean's looking. Yeah, there really should be a lot more boats out here. Or like any boats. I've never seen this space so empty. There should be commercial fishing boats and pleasure craft and ferries and even a few dinghies. Looks pretty damn close from sea level though. Like I said, I've been out this way on boats quite a few times in my childhood. And that horizon looks basically perfect. Bruny Island seems a bit too lumpy though. It's a relatively flat island really. Or maybe I'm heading towards the wrong one. Maybe this is Bruny here. Top tier edition? No, this is the stock edition, standard edition. This is the Game Pass edition, which means it is the the lowest tier version. The only real differences between the version, in case you're wondering, it's got nothing to do with graphics or performance or anything. It's all about just what's included. So the more expensive versions just have a few more aircraft and a few more custom airports, and that's really the only difference. Any chance to get you to fly over my hometown in BC, Canada? Or do you have an itinerary? I don't. I mean, I do have a whole list of places I want to go fly over and tour and have a look at and explore and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not on a schedule here. Is it worth getting the high tier edition? If you're asking me that question, probably not. If you needed the high tier edition or wanted the high tier edition, you would know about it because you would be a very serious flight simmer who desperately wants the extra airports and extra planes that are available in those editions. Like for example, there's a Boeing 747, I think it is, in the Premium Edition. Very desirable commercial aircraft that the average user probably won't care about too much, but serious flight simmers who like to simulate those commercial flights definitely want access to that. So yeah, if you're asking that question, chances are you don't need to worry about the editions, just get the cheapest one. Or get it through Game Pass. What graphics card do you have? If you type in MSFS, Microsoft Flight Simulator, you will get the details of the machine I'm running on, and the settings, etc. Everything looks bad, but houses are all identifiable in my neighbourhood. Seems about right. Yeah, I think this is Bruny Island in front of us. It wasn't the big lumpy one to the left there. This is definitely Bruny Island in front of me here. Like I said, it's pretty flat. Which is kind of a metaphor for what it's like to spend a couple of weeks there on holiday. Pretty flat. I mean, it is hilly. You know, it goes up and down. There are little itty-bitty valleys, but as you can see, pretty flat. Is the flight control players or AI? It can be both. So there is a AI pilot. So if you wanted to answer an email or fiddle with some settings or something, you can actually turn on an AI assist for you. And in fact, it's got a couple of levels of assist. So you can get AI control. You can have it just do the checklist. So all your takeoff and landing stuff automatically done. You can manage radio communications automatically for you, which is really handy. Or you can tell it to take complete control of the aircraft and it'll just follow your flight plan while you're busy doing other stuff. Aside from that, the planes that have regular autopilot also have that feature as well to maintain speed and heading automatically. How is fuel at that alt? I actually have unlimited fuel turned on at the moment because what we're doing is just touring around and I didn't want to fiddle the fuel. So yeah, I've just got unlimited fuel turned on. But with a full tank, this plane has, I think, about a 5-hour... what's the word I'm looking for? Endurance. So, and this flight is only about... well, it should be taking us about an hour. What are we going, 40 minutes already? Yeah. Flight plan. I don't have this flight plan available as a text file, but I think I'll put the next one we do up on the Discord. But I can put this one up if you like. I do have it saved out as a text file, so I can pop it in the Discord real easy. Yeah, there we go. Bruny Island, and it doesn't look right. Although, wait, which... No, this is the east side. Okay. This beach... Yeah, there it is. It's amazing how much I remember. I haven't been here in like 28 years. But like I said, I spent many weekends trapped on this fucking island. Because the only way on or off is by ferry. So it's not like I could have gotten on my bike and... Actually, no, wait, there is a road to it, isn't there? It's across a little land bridge, and that's... Is that it up? No. No, you can drive to it, can't you? Well, do you have to take... Oh, I can't remember. Do you have to take a ferry to Bruny Island, or am I thinking of a different place we went? I think you have to take the ferry to Bruny, don't you? There is no causeway. And is this... Yeah, this is the beach. This is the beach that is quite close to the place we stayed at, the little cabin. As you can see, there's a little inland lake behind it there. Yeah, well, that's all pretty accurate, actually. Yeah, even down to the colours. Be damned. Doesn't look like any of the housing is here, though. There should be a caravan park just over there. Unless that disappeared by the time this photo was taken. Yeah, I walked along this beach many, many times. Launched a dinghy off this beach many, many times. Went fishing out of here many, many times. Ferry, yeah, the ferry leaves from Kettering. Yeah, that sounds about right. Caravan park is still there. Where is it then? Am I on the wrong part of on the island, or is it a little bit further inland? It's somewhere near here. I'm sure of it. Holy shit! Is that an airstrip? Bruny Island has an airstrip. Be goddamned. Maybe this isn't the part of the island I was thinking of. I don't remember an airstrip. Maybe I just never needed to know about it. I'm not landing there. I spent more than enough time on this island. I'm not going down again. This seems vaguely familiar, though. That little place there. Where am I right now? I'm above Bruny Island, just off the what is it? Southeast coast of Hobart. Discovered that Margaret River has an airport last night. Really? I didn't know that either. Why would you need an airport at Margaret River? Why? Who the hell wants to go there? I mean, I get wanting to leave, but still. Actually, maybe the beach I was at is actually down further here, across this causeway. I mean, I definitely spent time in this area, but I'm thinking maybe the beach that's close to the caravan park is not this one. Like I said, it's been at least 25 years. Some of my memory may be a bit fuzzy. And it's not that big of islands, and I spent a lot of time here, so I've seen most of it. Oh, no, it is down here, because I remember that outcropping just over my left wing. Yeah, no, it's this beach down here that I spent most of my time at, right in front of us. Because I had a quote-unquote auntie and uncle, which I don't think were related to directly, who had a little house right in front of my nose right there. Had a fantastic view of sunrise. Land on the beach. Yeah, so I don't want to be back on Bruny Island, even virtually. I'll fly over it for nostalgia's sake, but I don't want to set foot on it ever again. I was so bored. Yeah, no, this is definitely it. I remember driving down this road. This is how we got there. Oh, Christ, it's all coming back. Do not spam secret port. Seriously, I did ban them, but somehow they're still posting. It's weird. Flaw in the system. Oh, well, we can ignore them. No big deal. Right, so if that's the beach... You know what? How about we do this? Yeah, now this, yeah. 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 None of this looks right. I mean, the roads are arranged correctly, but none of this looks right. I think just here is where the caravan park should have been. Yep, there's that little... Yep, there's the little bridge. I went fishing for skate off that bridge down there. Spearfishing, that is. By torchlight. Good fishing for flathead out in this bay area here, by the way, in case you're curious. And yeah, sure enough, this little outcropping doesn't look right at all. But down here is that... should be that house I was talking about. So yeah, that's Bruny Island, where I spent some of my most tedious teenage years, or early teenage years, until I was old enough to convince my mother that I should be allowed to stay home alone.
Alright, this is your Captain Blunty speaking. That concludes our nostalgic tour of Hobart and some of the surrounding areas where I spent the first 21 years or so of my formative life. Born here, spent most of my life here until I was 21, and then I moved away, never to return. Well, not never to return. I came back once for a friend's wedding for a weekend. And it felt very small, but clean and pretty. Wasn't a terrible place to grow up. But also, broadband internet wasn't a thing. So, you know, played video games, rode my bike. That was pretty much my youth. Comic books. I did hope you enjoyed your time exploring Hobart. I thank you for your choice of flying Blunty here. We know you have a choice of streamers when it comes to exploring simulated planet Earth. And I hope you're glad you chose Blunty Airways today.